When you're on safari, you often see the animals behaving according to their true nature, and some of the wild actions that they get up to can be truly eye-opening. Let's take a look at some more of urban animals as they operate within their wildness and see what lessons we can extract from it in what proves to be a very explosive reality check. Without wishing to cast aspersions on what people are doing here, we're pretty certain this is some form of drug-based activity going on here. All the actions, all the demeanors, and everything else that's going on suggests this is either usage, taking, dealing, or sharing. At some point during this, one of the group decides that he's either being ripped off or someone has said something that's pissed him off. He decides, you know what, I've had enough of this and I'm going to just feed you a little bit of fistic action to show you that you can't take me for granted. It's at this point that everything goes a little bit sideways. Because as is always the case when we get these curious group dynamics within the hierarchies, behaviors that are tolerated from one person to another can very quickly become absolutely non-tolerated and it becomes volatile. As soon as he throws the first punch, an individual which will charitably describe as the group enforcer comes in and throws punches back at him. Now, none of these are going to be given any major boxer or MMA fighter any concerns about the power or the up-and-coming contender. But there's still punches, it's still violence being inflicted on person to person. What becomes interesting here, though, is how fast the powder keg explodes once that spark is lit. It starts off with fists flying. Before you know it, more fists are coming in. Soon, you see a length of lead pipe coming out. Then you see a fish whacker coming out. Then you see one guy actually unsheath his knife and that's coming out. We have gone from a disagreement and a punch being thrown to a pitched battle with fists, so all of a sudden we've now got the 300 at Sparta. Every weapon that's coming out now is now designed to do one thing, which is hurt someone. I don't know what you think you're going to solve by giving someone a good kick in with a weapon like this. There's nothing at this threat level. But again, we're in a group of people where the hierarchy works by different rules. Having indicated to this guy that his behavior was unacceptable, he leaves the scene, but he returns shortly later. And when he returns, on first glance, it appears he has a firearm. He actually does, just not in the way that most of us think it is. Pause this for a moment. Consider the escalation process that goes in and what we can learn from this within our own interactions. Anything that you do, any level that you're willing to go to, someone else is willing to not only go there, but go past. So when we take an action, when we engage in a course of conduct, be very, very cautious. Because there's always someone that's going to go one higher than you. Unless you know your bottom line, you're going to get outclassed very, very quickly. These guys escalated this to a weapons-based encounter. Did they use their weapons? To a degree, but certainly not to a point where they were looking at killing him or maiming him permanently. But they have now declared this is a weapons fight. Well, guess what? When you declare it's a weapons fight, if that guy wants to carry on fighting, what's he going to bring? From the back? Yes, a weapon. And the weapon he chooses is a flare gun. As soon as he comes with a gun, you see the one guy's actually anticipating a gunshot going off and he starts to turn and shy away from it. Once he realizes it's not actually a firearm, nor is it actually going off that easily, he continues to then decide he's going to fight on with this guy and get the weapon off him. Then, woof, as if a wizard in Dungeons and Dragons casting fireball in a crowded dungeon, everybody's going up and taking damage. This is not anything that most people would prepare for. And when you first see this video and you don't know what's going to go on, you're just like, what the hell was that? Because all you see is a flare going on and the guy's now rolling around on the floor on fire. This is a sort of situation that as a passerby, when you're watching this going on, any fight, any group thing like that, you should be putting distance between yourself and that group of people because nothing good is going to come of you hanging around. No matter how much world star you want, no matter how much content you want for your social media channel, even myself, who does the bread and butter from these sort of incidents, if I see that going off, I'm out of there. There's nothing good to be gained by getting myself involved in the maelstrom. Once the fireball is gone, he's then reloading it and walking away. But the guy that's on fire is now pissed. You don't set someone on fire like that and expect to get away with it. He takes the weapon off the other guy and he goes after, ready to engage and show this guy what a weapon fight is all about. But there's an intrinsic problem here. And it comes to an issue that I'm going to address more specifically in a few seconds. Because he doesn't engage properly, he gets set on fire again. And he's left rolling around on the floor with serious burns, twice now. That's not a good situation for anyone to find themselves in. And if someone's already got a projectile weapon that they're willing to set you on fire with and they're going away, I'd let them go. If you're that bothered about it that you want to revenge, you can do it another day. But the larger issue I was referring to is the psychological barrier between an implement for self-defense and your ability to actually use it. Now, the law in Canada is quite specific. You can't carry a damn thing for self-defense. Not a lemon, not a knuckle duster, not a taser, nothing. Because if you carry a weapon for the purposes of self-defense, that's an offense within itself. If, however, you're carrying something for a different purpose that you happen to use for self-defense, then that's completely different. In this instance, if you've got a weapon, you need to know how to use it. If you're going to pull a gun, shoot someone. If you're going to pull a knife, stab someone. If you're going to pull a club, hit someone. It's a simple ingredient if you're actually going to deploy any form of tool or equalizer. If you lack the ability to deploy it successfully, you are going to create bigger problems for yourself because you've still created a weapons fight. You've still brought a bat to the combat situation. And if you can't use it, all you've done is slow yourself down because your inability to deploy this successfully will stop you deploying anything else successfully. And that gives your opponent yet more chances to come back at you. And in this case, set you on fire. What's the ultimate lesson from here, other than don't do drug deals in C-train platforms? Don't escalate stuff beyond the point that you can cope with it. If violence isn't required, don't go to violence. And if violence is going on, get yourself away from it. None of us needs to be there catching ourselves on fire, our partner on fire, hell, even our children on fire in a situation that's volatile and explosive. The safety of ourselves must be paramount, whether it's watching a fight go off or whether it's our interactions with people day to day. The reason Reality Check emphasizes walking away from situations isn't cowardice. It's not because I'm afraid of confrontation, and it's not that violence is never the answer. Sometimes it's actually the only answer. It's that when violence becomes your go-to, and when violence is introduced to a situation, you can't unintroduce it. I can keep talking, I can go in circles, I can counterpoint, you can counterpoint, we can discuss, we can argue, voices can even get raised. But when violence enters the equation, that equation's now over, because violence is now where we're at and where we stay at. And the problem with violence is, unless it ends there and then, it escalates, it escalates, it escalates. And as we've seen in this video, when you start to play with fire, you are going to get burned. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and thank you for all of you that keep writing to us, sending us the video clips, making suggestions. And for those of you that are asking how we can go about training with us, let me tell you about the opportunities we have. Reality Check is available for seminars, both in person and virtually, for small groups of individuals or for corporate training. We can help you become better leaders, better teachers, better martial artists, and all round we can help improve your outlook on life as an individual. We can't guarantee safety and we can't guarantee results, but we can guarantee we'll give you an insight into yourself, your own triggers and decision-making protocols, and set you up with the best possible chance for success. Hit us up at realitycheckbudo@gmail.com to inquire about training opportunities, and we'll be more than happy to help take you to the next level.